What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode. Married to the Game, Rest of the State edition. We got the Utah hat in Hall today. This episode's going to be a loaded one. We're going to go over the BYU-Utah game coming up Saturday in basketball. Then we're going to react to UVU's stunning loss to Southern Utah in basketball last night.
Oh!
Kimball might have a breakdown.
Orem Kimball has been damaged. Quick little UVU Cal Baptist preview, and then we're going to pick both of those games, BYU Utah and UVU Cal Baptist. We'll start with BYU Utah, though, fellas. Utah goes in to the Marriott Center on Saturday afternoon, not night, afternoon, 3:30 p.m. on the big FOX. That is Fox for those of you who don't know how to read.
Big noon kickoff, baby.
Big noon kickoff, but at 3:30. Should be a great game going in. What do you think about this game, Zach? What does Utah have to do to stay, to finish the job this time? Because they almost did in the Huntsman Center.
Almost had it. I kind of like the trajectory of this team so far. They were on like a pretty long losing streak, actually, and it was looking pretty rough, and things weren't going too well. They were losing five in a row, and then they hit the turnaround with TCU. They played a really good game against Kansas State. I mean, they lost, but it was a 4-point loss. Had the chance to tie it, but ultimately didn't get it to go in, which sucks. It happens, but, like, this was looking way better than it was supposed to be, and I feel like this team has a little bit more of a positive look going into this game. I mean, if they were going to be on an absolute losing streak and not seeing any, like, hope and positive sides of it, it would definitely be like, oh, not this again, not BYU at BYU.
I was going to say, if they hadn't beat TCU, they'd be on like an 8-game losing streak.
Yeah. So
as of right now, it's only a 1-game losing streak.
So. And then plus BYU had their little kind of stutter with Texas Tech. It's going to be at BYU, so should be very comfortable for them. But, yeah, I mean, probably in Utah's eyes, the best scenario, one of the best scenarios they could ask for, and so things are looking fairly good. I think they have to keep that defense going still, though, to stop the teams, unless A.J. DeBonsa won't break out.
Yeah, and Kimball from the BYU side of things, what does BYU look like coming into this game? They've had a full week to prepare after that Texas Tech loss.
I was going to say, coming off a loss like that, it's frustrating. DeBonsa should be fully healthy, not sick anymore. Not an excuse for Texas Tech. I think they would have beaten us anyway, but he'll be 100% for this game, or at least should be, better be. You would think that it would be easy to just say, BYU, no-brainer. Got him in Salt Lake, should have no problem in Provo, and we talked about, I brought this up in the BYU Arizona preview. Go check out that one. We play Utah Saturday, Arizona Monday. BYU has no practices on Sunday. And so literally back-to-back games. And I'm not worried about this for a guy like Richie Saunders, who's a BYU guy, right? But some of these other guys like Robert Wright III or A.J. DeBonsa, who maybe don't have as much passion for the Holy War, because especially where it's less of a deal in basketball compared to football, if I'm those guys, I'm thinking Arizona. I'm a little worried BYU might overlook Utah and just be looking to Arizona, because if you want to prepare for Arizona, you have to start preparing before the Utah game. And that's really scary to me, because Utah is all in on this game, and I'm worried BYU's not going to be. But I don't know. What do you think, Noah? Is that a valid concern for BYU?
No, that's a super valid concern for BYU. Coaches at the college level normally game plan game by game, right? And so, you play Utah on Wednesday. You spend everything before Wednesday game planning for Utah. You beat Utah on Wednesday, hypothetically. We're not talking about any particular team here. Just say hypothetically you beat Utah. You got Arizona on Saturday. So you're able to spend the Thursday, Friday practicing game planning for that game, right? And so you have a pretty good idea of their schemes, of what they like to run. However, when you have kind of these two games so close to each other, and this is BYU's quickest turnaround all year. They won't have another 2-day turnaround for the rest of the season. They've got a couple of 3-day ones, but it gets a little bit tough when you're trying to game plan for two teams essentially at the same time, and then in between those two teams you don't have any practices. You just kind of have to jump in the water. I would be more worried on the back end against Arizona State than I would, or against Arizona rather, than I would against Utah. Just for the sole fact that I think they're going to have a tougher time implementing what they game planned for with Arizona because of no practice. I think for Utah, though, I do think they should be able to get out and game plan it. Their focus might not be completely there. It might be diminished, which gives Utah a really good inside track at winning this game. But I don't know. I think BYU is just a really talented team anyway, and so it's definitely going to be close. But I do think it's a valid concern and something you need to be aware of if you're both BYU and Utah. For you though, Zach, is there anything else you want to add before we move on to the next game?
No, I think this will be a really good one. I was afraid that this was going to be one where Utah walks in and gets blown out, and they have a chance in the Huntsman.
It very well could still be. There is a chance
but
that
they get whooped in Marriott. I feel like
there is a chance they go in on Saturday and
possible.
BYU just runs all over them.
It definitely is.
I don't think it'll happen that way, though.
honestly,
I don't think it
Kimball's
will,
learned his
but
lesson.
I think there's an off chance. Kimball
this is what I've
here
learned
no
from the
longer
Holy
makes
War,
20
okay?
point
I've spent
predictions.
21 years watching BYU play Utah. It does not matter the sport. Utah could be the #1 team in the country. BYU could be the 138th best team in the country in football. It's still going to be a close game. Vice versa. So I think it's going to be close.
I think it's going to be closer than I thought originally. So I think this will be another good game to definitely tune into.
For sure. Yeah, moving on. UVU. Orem Kimball has to come here with his tail between his legs. They unfortunately took a big, fat, old L against Southern Utah last night. A game you should not drop, especially when you're going into a 3-game stretch of Cal Baptist, Tarleton State, and Abilene Christian. So if they're not careful, things could get very, very dicey for the Wolverines very fast. Kimball, what are your thoughts about the game last night?
I mean, a phenomenal game from Holcomb. I just want to point that out. 26 points. He's good.
13 rebounds and 4 assists as well.
Yeah, so he gets a double-double. He's good, man. The only problem is no one's helping him. You get 2 other guys in double digits, but all of Southern Utah's starters got double digits. None of them got over 20, but they all got double digits. So not many bench points, but SUU just played probably their best game of the season, honestly. They played a phenomenal game, and I think UVU's problem right now is you know who your guy is, Holcomb. You know who your second guy is, Lionheart. But who's the third? You know, like Isaac Davis will show up every now and then, but then he'll, like this game, 3 points. You've got Hawkins who will show up every now and then. This game he did with 10.
You got Noah Tate. He'll show up every once in a while.
You've got these
Hendricks.
guys who just kind of float around who will either score 10 or 2 points. And I think UVU really needs to find their identity. Their 2 best guys are consistent, but no one else is. And I think that inconsistency it got them this time.
Yeah, looking at the box score, I mean, Utah Valley only had 3 guys who had over 10 points. SUU came in with all of their starters, like 11, 14, 14, 15, 18. Like, they were shooting lights out.
And, I mean, hey, man, listen, for Southern Utah as well, dude, bad shooting killed UVU this game. They had 15 more shots total.
Like 23% from
than SUU. They shot 23 from 3, which isn't good. They shot 37 from field goal percent, which isn't good. 57% from free throw, which is horrible. So just a horrendous shooting night. In contrast, 51% from the field for Southern Utah, 52% from 3, and 84% from the free throw line. All of this in spite of having 17 turnovers to UVU's 9. They also out-rebounded 42 to 35.
That's what I'm saying.
Southern Utah out-rebounded UVU.
You would have thought with that many turnovers, it would have been
You'd think they would have gone killed if they had that many turnovers, but it was just UVU had the chances to take those shots. They missed them. They just couldn't make a shot.
That's what I'm saying. SUU literally just played a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
But I'm not too worried about UVU. I think they're still the team to beat in the conference. Fortunately, it seems a little easier to beat them than it should be. But for their game upcoming against Cal Baptist, huge game. This is a big time. You need to win this game if you're going to stay on top of the WAC.
I was going to say, because right now they are tied for first with UT Arlington again, and Cal Baptist is a game behind.
So this is a big must-win game at Cal Baptist. Cal Baptist has lost to UVU, BYU, and Utah this year. And so UVU's done it before. Can they do it again on the road?
We'll see. I know we were talking about UVU's kind of 3-game span that's coming up. It's going to be a tougher one. And if I remember right, Kimball was saying how they'll probably lose one of the games. This is probably not one that I thought that we would see them lose against SUU. So I wonder if that was their one loss to get out and they're feeling good now, or if we might be looking at 2 and 3 for
tough
the next
3
time.
games coming up. Cal Baptist, Abilene Christian,
Abilene Christian, UT Arlington.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. Sometimes those things just happen in basketball, you know. Everyone has a bad game every once in a while. I wouldn't look into it for UVU too much. Just a bad game. Cal Baptist is a tough team on the road, especially. They're just a tough team. Dominique Daniels Jr. still averaging over 20 points a game.
Which is
Dong
ridiculous.
7.4 rebounds. That is Thomas and Dong. He didn't do much at the game we went to in Orem when these two teams played last month. Should be an interesting game, though. It's at Cal Baptist. They're going to be hungry. They're right behind UVU in the standing, so if they can get up and tie it with UT Arlington, that gives them a lot of incentive to go and start making a tournament push in the WAC. So picking this game, though, Kimball, start with you. I think we know who you're going to go with.
Every game that I've picked UVU to win, they have won. Luckily,
on record.
Luckily, we didn't pick the games that they lost. But this is no different. Give me UVU. We've beat them once before. Luckily, in the WAC, home court advantage doesn't mean anything. And so I'm not worried about it being on the road other than just maybe traveling to Texas. But give me UVU. It was a really close game. We were at the game. You know, UVU fans, get your butts to the games. They're fun.
It's our weekly reminder.
But give me UVU. Yeah. Very, very close game. I do think it'll be these two teams. One of these two teams will go to the tournament. I think the other's going to stop them from going. So hopefully it's UVU that gets to go this year. But I think these are the two best teams in the WAC, and so it's a good game. UVU close.
For sure. UVU scores a lot more points than Cal Baptist. They don't give up as many either. It's only by like 0.5, though. It's really close. I mean, statistically, man, UVU looks quite a bit better than Cal Baptist. I think the game's going to go a lot like it did when we were there. It's going to be very close at halftime, and then it's going to kind of get away. Give me Cal Baptist, though. I'm going to take the Lancers to beat them. I think this was going to be the UVU game in Orem, but it's going to be the reverse. I think UVU drops 2 straight, and we get ourselves a little WAC conference race. Things get interesting. They meet again in Orem later on because the WAC's so small that you play each team 3 times instead of 2 like normal. But, give me Cal Baptist. I think they'll take this one.
Yeah, I originally had Cal Baptist winning this one, and then with UVU losing to SUU, I'm hoping that it was just a slump. But I'm kind of nervous to see what actually goes. So I guess we'll find out from this one where they're really going with this. But I still think Cal Baptist with the home court, kind of similar to what Noah said. It's going to be a close game, but they're going to finally use that home court advantage to their own benefit.
Kindle's going to be insufferable if
it's going to be a
wins this
rough
game.
time.
But
go Wolverines, baby! Statement game. Get yourself back on track to go to the tournament.
Literally gets more excited about UVU basketball than he does BYU basketball.
It's an exciting year for UVU.
Speaking of BYU basketball, though,
exciting.
BYU Utah, final picks of the week. Zach, who do you got? BYU Utah.
I think being at home and BYU coming back after Texas Tech, I think they're going to win, but I think Utah will put up a pretty decent fight. It won't be a blowout. No more 20-point plus wins.
No longer allowed on the podcast.
It's not going to be that, but it'll be a good performance for both teams. But BYU is going to take it.
Yeah, Kimball. What about you?
Go Cougs. Give me BYU again. Close. Again, I'm just scared with how close this game is to Arizona. and the lack of focus that I think the guys are going to have. But give me BYU. I think Utah goes into halftime with the lead, and BYU crawls back and wins. But very close game.
We love you, Alex Jensen.
Give me BYU.
The world burner, part of me that just wants to watch the world burn, would love Utah to win this game. I think that'd be hilarious if they walked into the Marriott Center and won. That being said, though, BYU is too good. I think BYU is going to beat them. It's going to be close. I do think that, and you can go check out our BYU Arizona episode for those picks. I think Arizona is going to work BYU next Monday. But I do think this game, I think BYU will pull out a close one against Utah. So 3 for 3 on the panel for BYU. Make sure to check back in next week to see how our picks fared and hear us talk about more sports. If you enjoyed what you saw today, though, hit the subscribe button. The bell's over there. Comment section down there. Make sure to respect your elders. They love you, and we love you too. We'll see you guys next time on Married to the Game.
Peace.
Peace.